As counties across Michigan work to certify this year's vote, the Trump campaign continues to try to flip the outcome of the presidential race. But tonight, 7 investigator Ross Jones is setting the record straight and looking into the wild claims of widespread voter fraud.
This is unprecedented. We're really in uncharted territory here.
Election day was 2 weeks ago, and while the race has been called by virtually every news organization, supporters of the president continue to claim, without proof, that the race is still in doubt.
We're finding way too many examples where there's inconsistencies.
From state party leaders to average citizens, wild theories continue to make the rounds.
Something that points to large-scale voter fraud.
I was here at the TCF Center on election night and into Wednesday morning. Early returns showed President Trump was ahead, but it wasn't until he started trailing Wednesday morning that conspiracy theories started to take hold.
The media is going to have to be held accountable for going off and pushing the narrative that Joe Biden is president-elect.
One of the most prolific pushers of election night conspiracies is Patrick Kolbeck. He's a former state senator and on election night, a Republican poll watcher. In an affidavit, he claimed without proof that computers at the TCF Center were connected to the internet, saying the results could have been manipulated.
I'm telling you, it opens the door up to a lot of games.
He provided no proof that they were connected to the internet, and elections officials insist they were not. Kolbeck also says only fraud could explain how Donald Trump managed to get only 5% of the vote in Democratic stronghold Detroit. He neglects to mention that 4 years earlier, when he won, Trump did worse.
He got 3% in 2016.
Yeah.
This year he got 5%.
Yeah.
If this is voter fraud, it looks like the worst voter fraud I've ever seen.
A lot of people that are doing this are playing around the margins. We're going to see where the actual numbers came out.
And you may have seen this tweet claiming that 14,000 dead voters in Wayne County somehow voted in this year's election, including William Bradley, who died in 1984.
This is the same William Bradley. It can be verified through the Secretary of State.
We did our own verification.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Are you Mr. Bradley?
Yes, I am.
William Bradley?
Yes, I am.
You don't look dead.
Alive and kicking. I seen that.
Turns out this wasn't proof of voter fraud, but a clerical error. Bradley's father, who shares the same first and last name, is dead, but when his son requested an absentee ballot this year, it was recorded as belonging to his father.
That's your ID? William Neal Bradley, okay.
No one has produced proof that any ballots cast by a dead voter were counted.
At 3:30 on Wednesday morning, 3 vehicles showed up at Cobo Hall with over 35,000 ballots.
And depending on which version you hear, there's the story of a suspicious ballot delivery at TCF that swung the whole election.
In the middle of the night, we had a van pull up.
A van, a Chrysler 300, and a Ferrari with 130,000 plus ballots.
Truth is, there was an early morning delivery, according to officials, and for good reason. Once polls closed at 8, workers made one last trip to collect ballots at drop boxes and post offices, then took them to the Department of Elections in Detroit's news center to be verified, and then brought them here to TCF.
Just because the polls close at 8 o'clock, ballots are still received throughout the evening as they are being processed.
The probability that the election outcome would be reversed is essentially zero.
Ken Coleman is a professor of political science at the University of Michigan and an elections expert.
You can allege large-scale fraud, but until there's any concrete evidence shown, no judge or the general public will believe you.
And so far, no judge has. Multiple claims by supporters of the president have been tossed out of court, yet this battle seems to be continuing. We're live in Detroit. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
With likely more to come. Ross, thank you for the live report.